Well, welcome to everybody. Thank you for joining tonight. This is really the first time that we have met on Elevation Call since July 4th. It kind of was a holiday weekend. So we do have some catching up to do, and we have a special guest to introduce very, very soon here. So thanks for joining us tonight. Those of you guys who are regulars on this call know that Elevation Call is our kind of bi-weekly call to help elevate our business, elevate ourselves from a personal growth standpoint. And how we're excited to be actually doing this meeting from Cocoa Beach tonight. So we're celebrating the flexibility of our business, our home-based business, doing this business from our timeshare here in Cocoa Beach. And so I'm going to have Hal just start us out with kind of a recap of how we ended June. You guys have been really busy this summer. So tell us how the June enrollments went.
All right. So we're going to go over, as we do each week, our top 25 in all of Zalise. We want to recognize those of you on our team who ended June. We didn't get to recognize the end of June just because of all the schedules. So we want to catch up with that tonight. So in the international world of Zalise, the top 25 enrollers for the month, we had, let me see here. Is this it, June? All right, we had 3 people that entered in the top 25. Yvonne McCool at number 17, Kristen and Eric at number 5, and Kimberly Watkins ended up number 4. She kind of snuck in there at the end. Isn't that right?
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. So
Kristen,
she had the top 4. So 2 in the top 10 and 3 in the top 25 in all of Zalise and enrollments. For the month of June. Congratulations to all of you. And then in part because of the travel program that we launched in June, we had 5 people on our team out of 25 in all of Zalise who were in the top 25 of the personal volume, which would have included the new kits that came out at Summerfest. So at number 21, Pat Poole on the call tonight. Number 18, Mary Ellen and Roger Ziliak. At number, why am I having such 17. A hard time? Patty Bug at number 17.
Because I wrote it.
You wrote it, okay.
Oh, sorry.
And number 12, Steve and Jenny Todd. And at number 5, where we thought she might have ended the month, Yvonne McCool. She was on both boards, the personal volume board as well as the enrollment board. So congratulations to all of you. We're really proud of you. We hope that you can take these enrollments, these new people, build momentum, take advantage of all that your investment in yourself and your business and other people through June. And then here we are, the 10th day of July. And so far this month, we have one on the enrollment board at number 6 is Kristen Olander again.
Kristen, keeping it
Kristen's
going.
Got some momentum going for sure. And then also over on the personal volume side, a couple of names we hadn't seen in a little while out of Tulsa, Oklahoma is Linda Lusk. And then at number 5 is Mary Rising. So congratulations to you guys on the personal volume through the 10th day of the month. So there's a lot of month left, a lot of work for all of us to do, but we always have people on the leaderboard. And congratulations to all of you. And, summertime is a time that some people take vacations, go off to Florida and Hawaii and places like that. But, other people,
now we can work and do that.
That's right. So anyway, all right. Is that it for the announcements? We want to jump in tonight. So we're really glad that you're here. Rob Baker has become Rob's been available, and he is available. He's created this Travology and all the things he's going to talk about tonight, but we've been in contact with him and really excited about having him here. We're going to introduce him in just a minute, but I want everyone to realize it's on this call that at the first Phoenix Summit that we had a few months ago with Stephen in Dallas, a number of our area ambassadors, regional ambassadors, ourselves gathered in Dallas. And one of the things that Brian Welch, Susan and Brian Welch, area ambassadors out of Florida, at kind of the midway break, he came up to me and he said, what this really boils down to, Zalise, that is, it's a lot of great opportunities. Stephen and corporate and Zalise have provided us with incredible products. The CBD products, a lot of people don't understand it. We get that they don't understand it, but it's really an opportunity for us to get healthy, and it's really, really healthy, and help other people do the same. What we do with it is up to us. They've given us the opportunity. What we do with it is up to us. And then he talked about a couple of other things as opportunities. And then when we came to Summerfest, what I saw, what Stephen and Rob together have brought to us all, every single person within Zalise and people who will join in the future, is another layer and a different kind of opportunity that's multi-layer, okay, multi-layer type of opportunity. And so as it was launched, it came at us so hard and so fast, and the language of travel is not something that any of us are familiar with. And yet Rob is very familiar with it. And so when Rob speaks, Rob uses terms and ideas and concepts that he understands because he has been a leader in this industry, a developer for so long. And so if you were to ask Rob to break down the difference between CBD and CBG, I'll bet he wouldn't do a very good job with it. Okay, he might, but it's unlikely. But when it comes to travel, Rob can help us break that down. So all of this is new to us. And so we wanted to have Rob come on our elevation call and to kind of give us all, again, a quick overview, to do some distinguishing between the programs that we have, such as Voyager Lifestyle and also the Travel Agent. And, you know, I personally was, I would say, confused in my mind about some of the things, just in the basics of it, until we had a conversation with Rob just the other day that really helped me better understand that even the agent package is not just for people who want to be an agent. At first, I thought it was for everyone. Then I thought, no, it's just for people who want to be an agent, who want to like do this as a career. But after talking to Rob and Steve and Todd, who saw it from the start, Steve's like, no, this is a great opportunity. I'm going to leverage this for me and my family and the cards and get the perks that come from being an agent. But I don't want to sell it. That's what Steve's saying. But I want to get the perks from it as an ambassador. So anyway, enough of talking about from me. Is there anything else?
No, I just wanted to just say, you know, I've been really excited to get to know Rob better. He's been in the MLM business for 30 years, which is a long time, 26 of those years specific to travel. He's worked with multiple companies. And for those of us who were at Summerfest, we really got to hear about some of those companies. And those companies actually added travel to their offering. And so he's trained thousands of agents prior to owning Travology. And so here's the bottom line, guys. Whether you're interested in travel or not, no one has more expertise in travel and MLM than Rob. And he has made himself accessible to all of us. I'm so grateful that he's agreed to share kind of why he loves travel, why he's passionate about travel, and how these two offerings can not only help us build volume, build our business and our paycheck, but also really change our lives, as it started to do for Hal and myself.
So when you talk about him loving travel, he loves to travel. What you're talking about really is the business of travel.
The business of travel.
What's available to all of us and the different layers of that are available. So the idea tonight is that Rob's going to come on, share screen a little bit, kind of help us understand this better, and at the same time have questions. Now, a number of you have sent us questions, and we've tried to pass those on to Rob. Some of you who've been involved just a little bit. I don't know that, you know, we're going to end this call tonight at 8 o'clock Central. So we've got an hour, and so we want to honor that. But if you have questions, I want to encourage you, if you've got them prepared, that you would type them into the chat, and we will moderate, because we want a lot of questions hopefully to be answered or at least clarified to some degree. So
but remember when two weeks ago, we talked about the 10,000-foot view, kind of the higher elevation view. And so I've asked Rob to kind of share his background, his passion, the 10,000-foot view, before we jump into the details, the specific questions. So Rob, without further ado, Rob, in your Travology hat, we'd love to have you join us. And thank you so much from our entire team for being here on a Sunday evening to share with us. And Rob, you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Hal and Lisa for inviting me on your guys' team call. It's an honor to be with you guys. The more I get a chance to talk, have calls with Hal and Lisa, I mean, we've been on some pretty long calls and getting to know each other a little bit better. I hope we get to, build this relationship for years to come. That's one of the great things about being not only in network marketing, but also in travel, is that the relationships that you develop and build that last a lifetime. And that's one of the great things about being involved in both industries. To me, travel is something that I drew a passion in over 26 years ago, like Lisa had talked about. I don't know if you guys can see this picture or not, but that's where I started off as a police officer.
Wow.
So I was a police officer in California. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like a chips guy.
Yeah, I was actually a stud back 20, 30 years ago. Matter of fact, let me show you my police academy picture. It's kind of funny. Let's see if I got it. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this one too good, but there's when I graduated out of the police academy.
Wow. Impressive, Rob.
Yeah, so that's where I thought my career was going to take me, was in law enforcement, So that's kind of a passion that I had. I got into law enforcement for what I considered to be the right reasons. I got introduced to network marketing through a friend of mine who kept bugging me to check out a presentation that I kept not going to. He actually kept track of how many times he was inviting me. And this is actually a good training for those of you out there. Never give up on somebody. Today's no is just waiting for a yes tomorrow. And what happened was he just kept shaming me to come check out this network marketing company that was brand new in health and nutrition. And, coming from law enforcement, I had the typical negative, thought that most people have in corporate America. It's a legal pyramid. It's one of these things, especially coming from law enforcement, right? Everything's illegal other than what we were doing. And so when I finally went to this event, I decided not to get involved in the business, but I got involved using the product just to keep this person from being mad at me. Okay, because he was a long-term friend. He was actually my chiropractor, and he was a chiropractor for all the police officers of our department. So I just had to use the products and get the products just so he would continue. I always like to say, instead of getting off my back, to get on my back, right? So a good friend of mine got me into it. And what's interesting is that I never thought that I would have an interest in network marketing. But here's the thing, when I build belief in something, I'm not a good salesperson. I'll just say that. I'm a good share person. If I generate passion in something and I believe in something, you can't really shut me up. And that's really what happened. I started to use some of the products. I had a lot of success. And the next thing you know, I was sharing. And then when people were asking me, well, gee, how do I get this product? Because I'd give samples. And I'm like, I don't know. Let me introduce you to my chiropractor guy. And that's where it went from there. I built an organization. I call it ignorance on fire is having ignorance on fire is better having knowledge on ice, we call it. And I built an organization, about 8,900 people in a stair-step breakaway comp plan in less than 2 years. Now, it's not a lot of people. But for me, it built a part-time income that allowed me to make more money actually than I was making in law enforcement. And then I decided that I wanted to switch departments, go to a different department. And then I had an opportunity to have up to 3 years before I would have to commit to another department without having to go through the academy again. So I went ahead and I got involved in that nutritional company. Ended up moving from nutrition to the first home-based travel agent program ever in the history of network marketing in the mid 90s, and built an organization of 18,450 people in less than 8 months in a stair-step breakaway. And the reason I'm saying these comp plans, because if you know different comp plans out there, you're going to understand the difficulties of a stair-step, like a Amway or an Herbalife type comp plan, right? The old school, not like a binary where you could have two going down, right? This is, you go wide on a binary, on a stair step, and you're only paid certain generations based upon your rank, we called it. So those are difficult comp plans. Well, the owners messed that up, and then I ended up going to another company as a rep. That ended up being the largest network marketing home-based travel agent program. And keep in mind, back in those days, there was no .coms, there was no Orbitz, Expedia, no Priceline for the people that are in my generation. Remember the days when we got an actual airline ticket from a travel agency. You'd have your travel agency on every corner. I call it today, it's the Starbucks, right? You got Starbucks on every corner. Back in the early 90s and mid 90s, it was a travel agency on every corner, right? And you would get your airline ticket from your travel agent. And so once again, ignorance on fire is better than having knowledge on ice. Had no idea about the travel industry, what I was doing. I became the #1 money earner in that. And, you know, I'm a firm believer in documentation beats conversation. This is my genealogy of 39,450 people. And we printed out genealogies in those days. Okay. We didn't have computers. Okay. And just to show you the actual page, okay, look at how many lines are on this page. So here's somebody that comes from a law enforcement background, no travel experience, very limited network marketing experience, built an organization of close to 40,000 people in less than 2 years, became the #1 money earner. And the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because understanding the potential of travel, because a lot of people have no idea the interest. And we talked about this with Hal and Lisa, is like, I don't want to make a career out of this. Do you think that these people were looking to make a career out of this? No. They just wanted to be in the industry, right? Why'd they want to be in the industry? Real simple. This is called an IATIN card, okay? This is the ultimate ID card in the travel industry. The card right below it is called CLIA, okay, which is an Embark ID card, all right? People paid $500 to have one of these, okay? Traveling around as a travel agent. And keep in mind, back in those days, once again, we didn't have technology. So whenever they had anybody that they wanted to refer travel, they weren't booking travel, they were sending them to a toll-free telephone number. And we had a call center, a huge call center in California that was, now by the way, I was the #1 money earner. There was another guy that had an organization. There were 3 frontline guys to the company. There was a total of between 3 of us, probably close to about 90,000 people in the United States that were a part of the home-based travel agent program. Okay, think about that for a minute. That's huge, and especially without the technology that we have today. So the interest back then has not changed. And I ended up moving from, and here's the thing. Technically, I shouldn't even be talking to y'all right now. I should be retired, having my second home in Hawaii and living the dream, as they say, right? But unfortunately, it's never the people that fail the company. It's always the company that fail the people. And so I ended up going on and saying, you know what, because this company screwed up this company. And I went from, I like to say, the penthouse to the outhouse. And then I had to start all over again. And so I tried it one more time, company screwed up. So I've been a top money earner of 4 different network marketing companies. I know where you guys are at. I know where you want to be. And I can tell you, by being with #1's the lease, you have a stable company. So you don't have to worry about Steve screwing it up, because he's been there like myself. We know, we've been through it. Matter of fact, I met Steve when I had my own first network marketing travel company I launched. And in 6 months, I got introduced to a company called CyberWise that Steve was affiliated with. And I ended up having my own travel company that got acquired by the company that he was a rep at. So I put their travel company together. They acquired my company. I put their travel company together. They had a whole variety of products, nutrition, skincare, all sorts of stuff. But they also had a travel agent program. We put in 29,000 people in less than 3 years, along with all the other stuff. Once again, the owner screwed that up. I ended up leaving, started another travel company. Within less than 8 months, that got acquired by a company called World Ventures in Texas. That's why I'm in Texas now. I put their travel company together called Rovia. We created 89,000 home-based agents in less than 3 years. For some reason, 3 years has this interesting mark. And we also had 167,000 travel club members. So we had two products. We had a product called Dream Trips, which was like your Voyager Lifestyle, except on steroids. Voyager Lifestyle is way better. And then the home-based agent program. That's all we had. We didn't have anything else, right? And if you've ever heard of a company called YTB, YTB was a network marketing travel company in the early 2000s. They got over 280,000 United States travel agents. That company wasn't well ran and didn't work out. And once again, I'm not trying to scare anybody. It's just that you got to know what you're doing when you're involved in travel and network marketing. And so by myself being in the field, learning the industry on a regulatory side, on an MLM side, on the travel side, on the technology side, because in order for MLM travel to work, you got to have the technology to make it happen. And so that's what we did. We started developing technology. So to make a long story short, I've had a passion for travel for a long time because I've seen what travel does for people. Even though people may not want to look at it as a career, everyone knows somebody that's going to be traveling, right? So if I were to ask you, do you know somebody that's going to be traveling in the future? Well, if you don't know somebody, you definitely need to just go outside and start talking to people because they're traveling. That's a fact. And if you've been on an airplane lately, I know Hal and Lisa's traveling. If you've been traveling at all, you know it's just nuts out there. Matter of fact, the airlines can't even keep up with what's going on. And hotels are full, cruise lines are being filled. So people are traveling. So the next question is, where are they booking it? So they're booking them at the Orbitz, Expedia, Pricelines, the OTAs. They'll also book directly with the supplier. But at the end of the day, people don't care. They're booking travel. So by being involved in this industry and representing yourself as someone representing travel, you don't have to make it a career. You don't have to be booking airline tickets. You don't have to, get involved in putting groups together. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is be a good sharer, like I did when I first started in nutrition. It's as easy as taking your, $200 hotel saver. I got one of those. I carry these around with me everywhere I go. Here's my personal business card, right? And on the back, what do I have? Okay, I got my $200 hotel saver. I just hand these out all day long everywhere I go, right? It's the easiest lead generation system in the history of network marketing company, along with, obviously, a little later we'll talk about the trade show concept. But that's how I've always built my business, through trade shows and through, through just talking to people wherever I find them and ask them the simple question, hey, are you going to be traveling in the future, and where do you book your travel? It's not harder than that. And it's like, well, do me a favor, come to my website. And if you're not paying more than Orbitz and Expedia, well, back then we didn't have Orbitz and Expedia, but if you're not paying any more by going to me, can I get your business? And that's what you're going to find. And first of all, people that are going to give you more grace than they would in Orbitz, Expedia, Priceline, or anything else. So when they come to you, just long as we're going to be able to provide them the same price, they're going to book through you. And as a result of that, we get commissions from vendors and suppliers that we pay you a portion of that commission based upon our whole comp plan. So in the rundown, in terms of answering your question, I've seen more people's lives changed by getting involved in the travel industry than in any industry ever. And it's something that is in the top category. Matter of fact, in most surveys, it's the #1 interest home-based business to learn about. In other words, when people are surveyed, hey, if you were to start a home-based business, what industry would you have an interest in learning how to get involved in? Travel's #1. So people are intrigued by travel. People love travel. I don't think I have to talk to y'all about travel because you all like to travel also, right? And so when we talk about what we're doing, we're combining the technology that I never had when I was in this industry, along with the principles of network marketing, of becoming a good share person, not a good sell person. Refer them to us, we'll do the rest. And then we're going to show you through training and education how to get access to this stuff and show you all the different verticals and ways that you could get your own personal benefits and savings in travel. And I don't know who was on our call this weekend with ASTA, but if you were a part of that ASTA webinar, I've already gotten tremendous amount of feedback from people that were on there, just blown away about that organization in itself and some of the cool things that they do that they never even knew about. And so there's so much to learn in this industry that I want to make sure that I'm going to make myself available. And it just doesn't have to be Hal and Lisa. I'm approachable to anybody. I mean, you guys should know that by now that just contacted me. I don't run from anything. I don't care if it's a negative. I attack it. I deal with it because that's what it's about. Nothing's going to be perfect in any business and in life. It's a matter of addressing the issues moving forward and in creating your business even stronger and better. So hopefully that gives you an overview of a little bit about the industry and why I'm in it, and that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Did you want to share your screen to show us anything?
Yeah. I want to go ahead and I want to take just a minute to go through. I'm not going to go through a bunch of slides, right? I'm actually going to show you some stuff. It says it's disabled, so I don't have access yet.
He just made you.
I just made you the host.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. So the first thing that I want to share with you, and I'm actually going to the booking engine.
Hey, Rob, when you say the booking engine.
Well, I'm going to the Voyager. We're going to go to the Voyager platform.
Okay.
Let's see.
And Rob, just for people who might not know the difference, would you say
That's what I'm going to
the
explain.
Voyager platform is?
Yeah. All right. So right now we're going to show you what's called the Voyager platform. Now, my personal website's not under the Zalise brand because my company's been around a long time, right? So we did a private label for Zalise. And this is the personal benefit savings platform. So this provides access to personal benefits and savings on all these different categories, right? Hotels, cruises, rental cars. There's no discounts really on flights unless you're going business and first class. But we do have this as what's called a necessity tool because some people like to book at the same location. I'll give you a whole training on airline stuff in the future. These are homes like Airbnb type stuff. This is condominium, global weeks. This is negotiating where you could actually negotiate pricing for global condominiums. They're anywhere from 1, 2, 3 bedroom, a lot of them with living rooms and kitchens and such. Then you have a section called activities, things that you could do wherever you're going to travel. Then you got these different lifestyle components. And then with another benefit that we have, there's a lot of people, believe it or not, that are stuck in a timeshare. And if they're stuck in a timeshare and they can't get rid of it, they could actually take that 1 or 2 weeks and do an exchange, or they could deposit it into the system. And there's a whole process to this. But if someone does have a timeshare, they could actually exchange inventory, get credits for other, for other destinations and such. So this is really, something that's different too, because this is actually a market that our partners on the technology development side of this, that was their industry, was the timeshare industry. That's why we have so many things called weeks and marketplace. Like, for example, you could take a look at this, there's condos and stuff all over the world, right? And so that was our partners, a real niche was timeshare type exchange program. So this is how it originally started and how we connected and came together. And so you have this, you have obviously your boomerang program. And so for those of you that know what boomerang is, and this is why this is different than the travel agent program. So this vertical provides you access to certain benefits that aren't necessarily available on the home-based agent side. So for example, we don't have weeks in marketplace condo type stuff on the travel agent side, because on the travel agent side, we want to stick with stuff that actually has commissions that you can make money with. So for your own personal benefit, there's benefits on one side and benefits on the other side that you may not have with both, right? In addition to hotel content. So there may be different hotel content, different hotel savings and discounts, because we have two different platforms that we've created. I won't get into all the logistics of all that, but it's basically two platforms and two systems that offer different benefit and value. Now, this boomerang provides you the ability to send an invitation to somebody, and then when they register, it's a test drive program. So one of the questions that we get is, well, when the customer gets a boomerang, why don't they get hotels, cruises, homes, weeks, all the other stuff? Well, because they're not a subscriber. So we're not going to provide all the benefits to a subscriber. It's a test drive. Now, what's good about it is, hypothetically, if they go in and conduct, and by the way, they only have access to hotels, cars, and activities. That's it. That gives you an opportunity as a builder to use that as a recruiting tool, to where you can basically say, listen, I'm sending you this invitation, and let them know it's coming in case it goes into spam or whatever. But when you send them this boomerang invitation, have a webinar with them and basically go in and show them what they have, because they're going to know what they have, and then show what you have and say, listen, look at all these other benefits that you could have access to, right? And then when you go in, you want to do a hotel search, right? And so let's just, go in and do one in Orlando, for example. And we're going to make a reservation when school gets back in, find the best content. And we're going to, we'll go, well, actually, let's do this. Let's go, midweek, because that's typically when you get better deals than on weekends. So we go ahead and midweek, we pull up the result. Now, when you see your result, you're getting 100% of the savings. If your boomerang person was to take a look at the same result, they would have 50% of that savings. So hypothetically, if they were looking at this particular resort right here, that's 55%. 55% off of what? 55% off of the best online OTA website. So when you look at this, this is what they're publishing right now. We call it a surface search. We're tied in with contractual payments to what's called the Expedia Group and the Priceline Group, who owns all the other OTAs out there. So we're not scraping results. That's illegal. So we're pulling up these results legitimately, that's showing you the same content that's on their website, but it includes taxes, okay? Real important, because typically when you do a surface search at another OTA, they normally don't charge taxes and know the full price until you actually go in and put your credit card at the last stage. So this is showing you what the price is. So if I've never once seen a price here that was too off from what we're displaying, let alone being cheaper. And if it is, we have this program up here called Price Guarantee, which any location that you think that you may have found it cheaper outside of air, you can't deal with airline tickets, but pretty much everything else on here, you have a price guarantee program, and you just go into this and read it. I'll kind of click into it to a minute, but you could go in there and learn, and you could get 110% in what's called reward credits that go here into your reward credit platform that you can apply to free travel. So look at the results here, right? So let's say that they wanted to go to this Embassy Suite. Embassy Suite's a nice hotel, okay? So if you had the flexibility, instead of maybe staying at, staying at the Rosen Inn, whatever, hey, maybe I'll stay at the Embassy Suites, nicer hotel, and look at the money that I'm saving, $262, right? Here's another Embassy Suites, $566. So your boomerang person would be saving half of that, okay? So technically, let's just say, 566, they'd be saving 283, and then you would get $283 in actual equivalent of reward credits. So this is a great way to build up reward credits because when you build up reward credits, you could actually get and apply for free travel, right? So when we take a look at, and I'm going to go back to this so you know what I mean by that. When you see here where it says money and it says reward credits, you can actually click in here, and now when you conduct a search, it's not going to show you a dollar value. It's going to show you the reward credits that it would take to get that. And the reward credits are based upon a 0.01 mathematical equation. And the reason is because the first protocol for this platform is to give you reward credits on anything that you personally book. So not only are you saving money, but you get frequent flyer reward credits on your own based upon 0.01 typically of the value. Now it's not a lot, but it adds up. But with the boomerang, it adds up tremendously, right? So, you know, even with 12,285 in reward credits, which translates to $122.85, I'm able to get a free hotel night. All right. I can even get free airline tickets. Well, I don't know about that anymore because of the fuel costs that have gone up. But in the past, you could go to LA to Las Vegas for like, you know, $110 round trip. I'm not sure you can get those anymore. So anyways, that's kind of how this program works. This is, once again, a program for yourself. And by the way, for those of you that do get the account, what's really also good about this is when you click, now take a look at this. I'm in the travel industry. These are my reservations, okay? If this thing didn't work, I got, look at this, page after page after page after page. That's how much traveling I do. So I not only book through my agent status, because I have about twice as many bookings over the last couple of years on my travel agent status, right? But sometimes the travel agent rate's not available. So if the travel agent rate's not available, I'll come over here. Does that make sense? So these are all my personal bookings, pages and pages of them. So anyone that says you can't save money on this just hasn't used it. That's just bottom line, hasn't been consistent with it. And it's not a matter of what you save on one particular instance. It's a matter of how much you saved and were able to access during an entire year of whatever it is that you do, okay? So when you come in here, here's the other benefit right here where it says my profile. You can add a second person. It says manage travelers, okay? You could actually, it'll say add a traveler here. You can do this one time. You can add a spouse, an adult child. You could add a relative. You could add a business partner. So literally two people have access to the system, but you got to provide them your main credentials, your email and your password to get in. And then both of y'all have to have your own credit cards on file. So you'll notice that we have a bunch of credit cards on file. And so like here's, you know, my buddy, one of my friends, Mark, I gave him access to be a partner with me. And he's got his own credit card in here. So when he travels on his own, he comes in here and books. And when you conduct a payment, it's going to ask you, you know, which person's traveling. And so the person that's traveling, they would use their credit card for the transaction. Okay. Another thing that I want to show here real quick is this price guarantee program. Take the time to come in here and read it. Okay. It's terms and conditions. Just read how it works. Okay. Understand it, learn it. And then this is where you could actually get 110. So hypothetically, you know, if you ended up having a $10 difference, you're going to get 10 times 110 in reward credits. Okay. So that's real simple how it works. So this way, what? We're never beaten. We're at least always that 10% extra on the reward credits. So that's how that works. Another thing I want to stipulate on this platform is that we have dedicated support. So when you come in here, you're going to want to, first of all, read all of these FAQs. Okay. Take the time to do that. You have live chat. We have live chat pretty much available 7 days a week. We have personal concierge where you could actually request a meeting to set up with a travel reservation specialist for something more complex. And then we have different support numbers on for assistance over the phone during business hours. Okay. Now, for those of you that are looking forward to going international, because we're going to be having an international call with Celise, I believe, on Monday. This platform's already available in all these different languages and all these different currencies. So all the currencies are there. So we have the ability to take this platform globally. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, see real quick. Is there any questions that you guys might want to field for me in regards to this particular platform? This is the Voyager Lifestyles platform.
Still available. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right.
All right, guys. So I know some people have submitted some things in chat. If any of these involve the Voyager Lifestyles program, let's see, I see a travel training one and I see another travel training one.
Please speak up if you have a Voyager Lifestyles, not the travel agent training program question.
And it looks like Carol has a question. She said, from my travel experience, there is always a risk in booking through third-party booking sites. How do you counter that?
Yeah, that's me, actually. This is Susan. And I used to do quite a bit of traveling with my work. And so, in an effort to save money, we would sometimes use the Expedias or whatever's of the world to save money. And the only time I ever had trouble was when I did that, because if something happened, when the time it snowed in Atlanta and I was stranded and I couldn't get a hotel room, it was because nobody cared that I had a hotel room there because I had booked it through somebody else. So
yeah, well, I mean, I hate to say this, but that's an issue that revolves around the vendor. So in other words, the vendor doesn't care. It's not that the OTA or the travel agency doesn't care. The vendor uses that as a way not to have to support that request. The airlines are the worst at it.
right.
So if you book your airline ticket, and this is what I'm going to do a training on airline tickets one day, is airline tickets are its own animal. I hate the airlines, to be quite honest with you. They're a nightmare for travel agencies. There's no money to be made in them. I call it an evil necessity. And I always train people that, look, check our platform out to see what the best pricing is for air. Unless you're booking a business or first class ticket, book directly with the airlines once you know what airline has the best deal, right? Now, a lot of people have frequent flyer miles with airlines. So you're going to want to book it with the airlines anyways, because here's the deal. I don't care if you're at the airport sitting in front of the ticketing agent. If you booked your airline ticket through Expedia, Orbitz, Priceline, Agoda, Travology, AAA, American Express, I don't care who it is, they're not going to help you change that ticket. They're going to say, oh, you bought it at AAA, get a hold of them to fix it. You could be standing right in front of the agent. It's the most crazy thing I've ever seen in customer service because it's their airline you're on. Who cares where you booked it through? But that's the issue that you have. So I tell people, look, book everything through us. Technically, you shouldn't have a problem or an issue if you have a reservation. If you have a reservation, you have a reservation.
Okay, but I understand your point about airlines, and yes, that is a nightmare, and that's not really what I was talking about. So like even in hotels, a lot of time the third party things like this will use words like preferences and stuff like that. And when it gets translated to the hotel, they kind of give you whatever they have. So do you have that?
Are you talking about room categories?
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have to look at the room that you're selecting. So if you have something that's called run of the house, then that's the best available room that they have at that particular time when you check in. It's all predicated on check-in. That's a travel industry term. If you ever go to a website and see run of the house, that means that you're guaranteed whatever they're going to have available. All right. If you're looking for a double bed, then you need to select on the double bed. If you're looking for a king bed, you need to select on a king bed. If you're looking for a suite, you need to click on a suite. That's how you overcome that issue, because it's illegal for them to basically mess around with you if you've already booked a hotel, especially prepaid for it, and you showed up and you're expecting a double room or or a king or whatever it may be, and then they say, oh, we overbooked or we ran out or whatever. They can't do that. That's illegal, and you have actual compensation guidelines that they have to go through to compensate for anything like that.
Okay, thanks.
Is your question answered?
So, did you hear that, Susan? Was
Yeah, well, yes, thank you.
Now tell me, what's the problem?
No, I just, because a lot of the sites don't give you, and that's why I was asking, does your site do this? A lot of the sites don't give you distinct, clear words like you're talking about. They'll use words like room preferences. And so, as a novice user, you think, okay, that means I want 2 queen beds. But they'll use words like preferences because it allows them to have better choices and and look like a better discount. But when you get to the hotel, the word preference means something totally different.
Oh, that's the game. That's the games that Orbitz and Expedia and those kind of companies
and
play.
that's what I'm asking you.
We don't play that game.
That's all you had to say was that. Thank you.
Well,
That's what
I didn't understand what you were saying.
So we just did one where our preference was 2 queen beds. We didn't get there till midnight. And we got 2 queen beds and the place was full. So our preference was 2 queen beds, right? We didn't get there till midnight. Last ones to check in, I'm sure. And we got our preference. So
It worked well.
it worked well on that. That was one case. So let's go to a couple more questions. So
I want to show something real quick here.
Okay.
Let me find a hotel that I know is going to have different type of rooms. In Embassy Suites, all their rooms are suites, right? So it's either a 1 bed or a 2 bed.
No, you don't have to waste time on it. You can answer the other
No,
question.
it's not wasting time.
You
This is
answered my,
important.
yeah,
This
you
is
answered my
important
question.
for everybody to know.
It is.
Okay. See here where it says guest room? This is
yeah.
another word or term for run of the house. Okay. So you're going to get whatever, and that's why you click on this. Click on the room type. Did you need 2 beds? Well, guess what? There it is. There's 2 beds. Did you need a king? There's a king. So we don't play the game of preference because that's false advertisement. Any OTA, Orbitz, Expedia, Priceline, any of those guys, if they're saying they're going to give you preference to give you the best room, that's not true.
Yeah. Okay. I
That's
agree.
good. I didn't even know to ask that. So
Right. That's
really
a great
helpful.
By the
question.
way, see this right here, reward credits? You get reward credits on every transaction. So it all adds up. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you very
That's
much.
good.
Appreciate
That
that.
helped all of us.
Okay, never feel bad about continuing if I haven't answered the question properly. Okay.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, next
Okay,
question.
next question. We have a couple here. We're going to just read. Can both people on the email, like you and your friend, use the travel credits, even though one is not a subscriber?
They're the
Yes.
second.
Okay, they can both use it. All right, that's simple. Where do we find reviews on Voyager? Like, let's say someone
Bookings.
books a week somewhere, or we something other than like a common
Scroll
hotel.
down.
Where do we find reviews?
Scroll down to the bottom. You select the hotel, you select the room. Once you select the room, see where the reviews are at.
Oh, down
Okay.
at the bottom.
Now keep in mind, these are member reviews. Okay. So these are private member reviews. Now we have thousands and thousands, probably right now over 500,000+ travel subscribers on this, and all over the world. And so obviously we have now it's 1.7 million hotels in the system. Not everybody's gone to all 1.7 million hotels, right? So if you want to find a next specific review that may provide a lot more, there's different platforms out there that you could go look at as an independent review source, right? But you could log in here, click in, and see our own members' reviews.
So when you go to some things that are not so common, such as the hotels, you go to somewhere like Homes and there's no reviews. Is that because no one in the group has used it yet?
Well, if they haven't used it, they didn't take the time. to
Obviously,
complete
so,
the review.
so is that so hotels have reviews, but homes do not?
Typically, homes don't have reviews for the most part. You know, there may be like Airbnb type content that'll have reviews and things like that, but our users don't really do the reviews on the condo type stuff. The reviews are primarily on the hotels and resorts.
So how would you recommend somebody who's looking for a home, like an Airbnb, without reviews?
Well, what I'll do is I'll look at putting some sources together and then get those out to you guys. So we don't
Okay.
waste more time. Okay.
So let me just, so that we're clear, VRBO, just some of the name, right? Airbnb, VRBO, those have been around a lot longer than you have, right? With this package.
Well, with condos,
With
right?
condos.
Private homes. Private homes is a new thing with us.
Okay.
And it does tie in with some of those databases, right? So, you know, let's just do one for kicks here. So let's do Orlando. Okay.
So while you're looking, Rob, would it be accurate to say, and I don't want to speak for you, but since we're still building this, literally going forward, over time, we should see more reviews on the things that are there. For example, when I go book an Airbnb, which we did last year for the Outback Bowl in Tampa, we got an Airbnb and we looked at reviews. It was important. VRBOs, people, because you're staying in people's homes. It's not, you know, so how do you look at that from the standpoint of us as a consumer and our customers going forward and so forth?
Like I said, you could just go to third-party independent sites that do all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's plenty of there's plenty of opportunities out there. So I don't know, we'll just click on one, right? So let's see here. Let's do this one. Okay, so see, this one's not going to have quote unquote reviews.
So when you say third party, what would you be looking for?
Well,
Did you type in the same address or the same area and get a review
probably
from
you
another
would just
company?
you could Google the address or Google, Google the, well, this doesn't give you the address. It's just saying a specific resort.
Right.
To be honest with you, some of the stuff that, comes into here, we're not going to really have that accessibility to get every single home or condo or whatever reviewed. Or if you're looking at getting it, for this particular location, let me see here. You always want, by the way, tip of the day, no matter what you book, go in and read the cancellation policies. Really important. Now, what's weird about this one, and I'm going to have to find out why this address isn't listed here, is it just says resort studio near Florida attraction, right? This is bizarre. I've never seen anything like that. Like, for example, when you come into Weeks,
That's the first time
I
I've
don't
ever
think
seen
any
it.
of them. So Holly said none of them give addresses.
Well, if they don't give addresses, that's bizarre because I've never seen that. See this? This is telling you what the location is. I'll have to find out about that.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, this is Holly. I'm house sister. So I've been looking this week for a place for my family for about 15 people on the beach. So I've gone to homes, kind of not
I
been
would-
successful.
I'd go to Weeks or Marketplace.
I did. I
Right.
did. I've been to all of them. And then today my sis was calling about a condo in Breckenridge for the 1st of August. And so I went on and looked for her as well. I'm not finding reviews or addresses for any of these locations. They give you a map.
Here's
And
a
they
review,
should-
right? Here's a location and here's the address and here's reviews.
Where are you?
I'm
What's
on
the
a,
destination?
I'm in the Weeks section.
Well, yeah, the
Yeah.
weeks, yes, the weeks you do, the week section.
Weeks
you
and
do.
Marketplace, you're gonna have that. Homes, we tie in with a third-party database. That's what
Okay.
does, brings different content from different areas together. This Weeks and Marketplace, we control.
Right.
This is a content feed.
So
We
the
control
weeks,
this because they come from here. These
okay,
are
so
all
the weeks
condos
and
and-
marketplace, though, they're very limited. So where I'm looking, the places that I've been looking to go, there was not, that wasn't, an option. So that's why she's trying to go to Breckenridge. We're trying to go somewhere on the beach in the Floribama area. So, and I've navigated this site a lot in the last week, just trying to find places.
Well, I mean, I hate to say this, but we're not gonna have content in every location in the world. It's gonna be predicated on what our content's coming from all of the different timeshare owners and people that we source that put their product into our system. These are all privately owned, by the way, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
this is content that's coming from the owners. This content's coming through feeds, just like a hotel. Hotels come through feeds. So you may have to look at a hotel, and if you're specific on a Breckenridge 3-bedroom condo, it may not be able to be found on this platform.
So would it
Well,
be
we
true-
found
so-
them.
Hmm.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, Hal.
Go ahead,
So
Holly.
we did find them. We found, I found pages of them in Breckenridge. Obviously, they go from, they don't give ratings. Now, she was comparing on Verbo while I was on this page.
Well, are
And
you comparing apples to apples?
yes, as a matter of fact, she found the exact same condo for less on Verbo. And she found the ratings on Verbo, which is a 4.1, which my site didn't show that either. So she was actually getting reviews, rates, and pricing better on the Verbo than I was on here.
Well, guess what? We have price guarantee right there.
Yeah, that's why I asked that in the question in the chat box. Does that,
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say anything until you actually have the reservation with a credit card. 'Cause
what do you
sometimes-
mean?
What I mean is the surface price may not be the actual total price once you go in and start booking it.
Well, let me ask you, that's a good, okay, so that leads me to this question, because I did go to bookings. Always go to booking and I look to see what the fees, the taxes and all that are. And hers did the same thing. And so it gave, with fees, taxes and everything included, after you click on booking, it was
Keep
less.
in mind, let me share something. We don't set these prices. These prices are set by the owner of the location. So you could have a 1-bedroom at the same location, but it's owned by different owners.
So
You
Rob, do
understand?
we go in, since our Voyager lifestyles, when we're looking for something to book, there are no contact numbers, there are no phone numbers. Is that where we use the support line?
For
Like
what?
the private owners, the private owner, like there's no phone numbers, there's no contacts
Yeah.
for your booking. So do you go through the support line to talk
What do
to
you
them
mean
about
there's
the
no-
booking?
What do you, I'm still
So
trying to
like if
understand.
I'm looking at a condo in Breckenridge, Colorado,
Yes,
and it doesn't give me an address, it doesn't give me contact or anybody, it just says book it, book. I mean, most people like to talk to somebody before they book.
see right here called support.
That's what I'm at. Do we call that
There's a
number?
phone number, but better off, you click here on live chat.
So I clicked on live chat one day last week and it won't even let me click on live chat. Is there certain times you said 7 days a week? I tried that for 2 days on my page and I couldn't get live chat to work.
Okay.
So I
let me
went through the
figure that one out.
questions. I went through all the FAQs and read through, and then it said, set up a concierge time for a chat or what. So I tried to do that, but
Did you call the number?
I did not call the number. I tried to do the other
All
two.
right, well, here's concierge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you could
Yes.
always type in, hey, let's set up, it tells you the date that you want to, let you put in your time, let you put in the date.
Yeah, I think I did do that. And then I didn't send it because I was kind of more curious as to why my live chat didn't work. So,
Well, I'll find out why it's not working. It may be a technical issue.
well, I appreciate the answers. Thank you.
So whenever you have an issue like that, then all you do is email support@premiertravelsavings.com
Okay, thank you.
or get it to me directly, because everyone has my email anyways, rob@travology.com.
Hey, Rob, we've
I
got,
prefer it going through support because I'm not always available. So if you go to support at premiertravelsavings.com and CC Rob at Travology.com, that way I get it and I can follow and see where it's going.
so the homes that Holly was talking about don't necessarily have addresses or
Well,
places,
I'm kind of surprised to see that, to be honest with
Okay.
you.
because
I'm gonna find out
Airbnb
about
usually does. But it is actually, believe it or not, this hour has sped by, and we had said that we really kind of want to keep it at an hour. I know we haven't even scratched the surface of the whole travel agent side. So what would you recommend on that, Rob?
Well, you can let me know another time you want to do just that part or extend it a little bit or whatever you want to do, whatever you think is
Okay.
best.
I think we,
Can,
so
can you guys,
here's what I would say. I think it would be best to, because we feel like we need to separate these two in conversation anyway. That being the Voyager lifestyles from the agent. The agents that have already signed up at this point are working through it, all of our training and different things, and have our own separate set of questions that won't pertain to everyone else at this point. I will say though, for those of you who are on this call tonight learning about travel, we're all very much still learning. One of the things, and tell me if I'm wrong, Rob. So Expedia and all these other companies, they're connected with the hotels and the flights and some of what you would call the old school. People have been booking hotels for a long time. Airbnb, VRBO, they've been around a minute, but not near as long as the others. Does that have anything to do with the, because they've become very popular. And one of the reasons they've become popular is because people have not had great experiences with the hotels. And so they have shifted to the VRBOs and it's just more options. But it's new to the travel industry compared to the hotels. So I think a lot of the people that we talk to, they go to VRBOs and Airbnbs just like they would hotels. So
this is a new territory for OTAs. Obviously, Weeks and Marketplace is our controlled data because it's coming through owners. Like, let me show you this real quick, right? Let me get back to.
Point is, we're going to have a second call
about
travel and just how that can be advantage for everyone moving forward, not just people who want to make some sort of career in commission. It can be leveraged for personal use, much more even savings than this, a lot of benefits and perks that come with being an agent in the qualified system. And we want to hear more about that on another call. But while you're looking here.
Right. So this one right here, if you're able to find a location you're wanting to go to, because this one's a little bit more limited, right? All right, so let's say we were just going to do this. Okay. This is a whole different deal. You have to have specific dates of travel, but here's the good thing about this one. The owners of these resorts are willing to negotiate. So if you had a specific resort you found and they're saying, oh, gee, we want to charge $1,850, right? Then you could say, you know what, I'll give you, $1,200. And as long as you come down here and click accept and I agree, if they agree to that, you just negotiated your own deal. Nobody has this. Okay.
What
So
section is that, Rob?
this is called Marketplace.
This is Marketplace. Okay.
So this goes directly to the owner that replies back and says, yeah, I'll accept it, or they'll come back and say, well, I'll do 14, right? So you could actually negotiate with all of the different content that's on here. Now we're trying to build this more content, but a lot of people aren't willing to negotiate. But I think this is going to become more popular, to be quite honest with you. For the owners of these places, right? I mean, they got Hawaii, they got Florida, they got a lot of the main places. They don't have Colorado. So anyways, that's just another area. Let me just tell you this. I kind of know what gets booked here. I think the reason that this is such not a big deal with our company, because the hotel is integrated with multiple contents that we don't control. And number one, we have less than 1% of anybody that ever books on that. Our bookings on condo and hotel condos type stuff comes through weeks of Marketplace. This rarely gets booked. So it's there. I got to inquire a little bit more about some of this, because some of this stuff is different than what I saw last time. So I'm going to have to check into this on the technology side. Because look, I don't sit here and micromanage our platforms. We have people that do that, right? And so there's always new stuff that I'm learning on something like this that I never personally use.
Hey, Rob, just a few more questions and then we'll set another time to do
Okay.
travel agent, based on your availability. But Kristen had asked if the credits that you accrue on this site are transferable to someone else besides the person registered.
No.
Okay, so not for that.
It has to be to a member or the co-member, because you have to book it on the platform.
So one of the things that you showed us earlier, and this is something I hope everyone caught, and if they didn't, since it's fresh, you send a quote customer to the limited site that they can see. All right. And they're going to get 50% off the savings on theirs. And they say, I looked at your site and I didn't really save that much. It saved me, let's say $70 or up. All right. Well, let's say, what are you wanting to do? And how often do you travel? Because if you were a member of the same, if you're doing the same, if you had Voyager, okay, yourself, you would double that this time and each time you travel. So it's an invite to join, right?
Right.
That's why
like you're showing them all the other benefits too.
Right. So what you were saying earlier is you don't want to give your potential customers who use this invite all the savings up front, because there's no reason for them to join in as a member. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So,
And that kind of answers Debbie's question. If I send a boomerang to someone, what percentage could they expect to get on cars and hotels, or does it depend on the time of the year?
It's all variable depending upon season, but depending upon availability, depending upon occupancy level, all those factors are involved. So you can't say a specific discount percentage. Some may be lower, some may be higher. It's all over the place. Matter of fact, the discounts for a normal subscriber are anywhere from 10 all the way up to 70%. Those are the variables.
Okay, well, I think that this has been incredibly informative for us, Rob, and, thank you for going through, seeing what you were showing us on the screen has been really helpful to answer a lot of our lifestyle
Yeah, and
questions.
for me, again, even tonight, several things became clarified. So once again, the more we listen, the more we're engaged, the more questions we ask, the more we do with this, the more we individually learn. I experienced that tonight. I honestly learned a lot from this tonight, and I'm probably ahead of most people on it just because of just being, engaged with this. But so let that be an encouragement to everyone. You'll leave here. I still have some questions, not anything specific, but I'm sure there'll be, we don't have it all down, but I'm making progress on this and the benefit for myself and for other people and to build a team with, which that's really what this platform is all about. Yes, it's about savings, but if all any of us ever want to do is save, we never earn income. We never build with it. And so I'm encouraged by the call tonight and really appreciate you, Rob, scheduling time with us.
Yeah, not a problem. And I would definitely, remind everybody that if you're a builder and a recruiter, you want to have both products. You took a look at my own reservations on that platform. I use my own system. Okay, that should say something right there. And I own a travel agency. So if I'm using it as much as I use it, anyone else should be able to use it too. So the travel agent has different things. This has different things. It provides the best of all worlds. But as a leader, how do you explain and market something if you don't have it and use it yourself?
Right. So what you showed us is just your Voyager credit bookings, not your travel agent bookings. That's what you
No.
showed us tonight. But you, point is that even you use the Voyager, but you use the travel agent probably more, but nonetheless you use both.
Correct.
And so that's what we saw tonight.
That's really what leadership is all about. And one of the things I asked you, Rob, was how can we, if we have problems, just, as we're learning more about this, I posted what you answered. It's support@premiertravelsavings.com is an email address that we get. You said that documentation is better than conversation. A lot of these things they want to document. So I just wanted to pass on and have you pass on that email link for anybody who has support questions that haven't been answered tonight.
Okay.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we'll chat with you offline, Rob, and come up with another time that we can really focus on the travel agent side. But thank you so much for spending over an hour with us tonight. This is a recorded call. We will have this uploaded so that we can really have this as a resource for you guys and your team. And we thank everybody for being here. Rob, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. So let's see here.
You have control.
Oh, no, I don't.
Rob does.
I got to give it back to
Can't
you.
stop the recording. We're in an endless loop.
Oh.
Here, let me stop it for you.
Okay.